Making paper orchids is easier than you think, and I'm going to show you how in this month's Craftalong video. Now, all of the Craftoholic members in my mail club this month got everything just botanical themed. I want it to be super springy and fun and colorful, so the activity for this month is something I was so excited about, and it's how to make paper orchids. For the project, I included a pre-colored and designed orchid that I already did, and then I also have a blank template which I'll show you some ideas for later. But for the first one, you're basically just going to cut out all of your shapes, and you want to just take your time, go slowly, make sure not to leave any white borders around the edge. You want to just have the color of the petals or the inside. So take your time, don't rush, have fun. And then once you're done, we're basically just going to make the center hole. So the way that you can do this is either with really anything. You can do a tiny hole punch if you have a spiky tool, but to make it accessible, you can also just use a thumbtack or a push pin. And I like to use an eraser as the kind of backing so that I'm not risking bending or ripping into the paper when I try to just push the thumbtack through. So if you push it against something like cork or a rubber eraser, then it'll make it much easier to punch a perfect little hole. So you want to get these right into the center of all three of the pieces, and then just pull it out slowly if you're using the eraser technique so that you don't rip the paper as you take the thumbtack out. Once those are all set, we can move on to the next step. So take one of the floral wire pieces and one of the pretty little pearls that you got, and try to put the pearl towards the center of the floral wire, which should be around 4 inches. And then I like to hold the pearl and then grab onto both ends of the wire and just pull them towards each other. So we kind of create this little bobby pin, hairpin loop sort of scenario. And now you can kind of work this whatever way seems to be finagled for you. This is how I did it. I kind of tried to make this like little loop shape in between so that the wire crisscrosses under the pearl, and then I held onto the pearl and I twisted it about 2 times to create more of like a knot, almost just like a thicker area under the pearl. Now, before we put it all together, I like to curve the inside pieces and all the petals. I find it's really easy to use a pencil or a pen to help you really round the paper instead of bending it, because you don't want any harsh fold lines, and if you do, you can always just smooth it out and then re-roll it again and you should be able to work. I printed all of these myself this time instead of getting them manufactured because I wanted to make sure that the paper was a really specific thinness so that you could fold it, bend it around a little bit, but it was still stiff enough to hold its own as a paper flower. So once you insert the wire through, just kind of wiggle it so that you can get past that little twisted knot so it stays in place more. And just take your time, be slow. And then for the same thing too, we're going to just shape the other big outer petals all to curve inwards. So I kind of just like to mold it around my finger essentially and just slowly create that shape of a little like bowl almost, and do that for basically each of the petals before you put them on. And then for the third piece, you also want the bigger part to be on the top. Now, as you can see, it depends how your floral wire is, how you twisted it, but mine here is a little bit floppy, so just to make sure that it's extra secure, I'm going to use a little bit of glue, and I don't know why, but wood glue is always my go-to. It's just what I got in my freshman year of college in like a starter pack, and it's lasted me ever since, so that's what I use, and it works great. But I basically just use a skewer to dab a little bit of glue on the inside of the petal that's going to be basically touching the bottom of the other one, and then slid it up onto the wire, held it for a few seconds until it was nice in place, shifted everything the way that I wanted it to be, twisting it on the wire, and then once it was dry, it did not budge anymore, so it was ready to go. So that's the first orchid. Now to move on to making your own. Now, as a blank one, you can use pencils, markers, paint, literally anything. These are examples of ones that I did when I was prototyping this. This orchid has a Q-tip as the middle. It's just what I had on hand. But as some inspo, here is the most gorgeous gardening book ever. And flipping through, you can just see how much variety there is in the orchid flower. It's like absolutely crazy, and flowers just never cease to amaze me, but looking at the amount of texture, I think is going to be a really fun thing to explore with trying to use different materials and techniques to really bring that texture alive on the petals. So as an example here, I'm just using a little bit of gouache to kind of create a gradient to show you how if you wanted to do a really soft petal, then use some more water to sort of just blend out the paint a little bit. And then let's just say that you wanted to get some of that dotted material. I think it's really fun to do the marker while it's on like a wet paint, because then it'll just bleed a little bit more compared to on the paper. and color pencil also makes great for shading or adding little veins to the petals, and I use this white gel pen on the original one to get the white dots on the inside. But that's it, the possibilities are endless, and I can't wait to see what you make, so please share them with me, and I will see you in the next craft along.